Welcome back to a new video about a new function in LINQ. Today I will show you how to use take function in LINQ. Take function is to get specific amount of data from a LINQ query. The structure of this function is as follows. I set the function and then in brackets I write a number. This number indicates how many items I want to take. For example, if we have a data table as output from the query, which contains 5 rows, but I want to get only 2 rows as output. In this case I can use this function with number 2, to get only 2 rows from the result table. Before I start explaining the function in UiPath, let me show you this example to understand the function better, before we start using it. Assume I have the following integer array, which contains 10 numbers, from 1 to 10. And I have this simple query. This query is to loop through all numbers in this array. It checks if the number is greater than 2. Then it selects all numbers, which meet this condition. Until this point the output is of type IEnumerable. Assume I want to get the output as array. In this case I will add the function to array, to get the output as array. The result of this query is as follows. As you see, we have the following 8 numbers, which are greater than 2. Assume we don't want to get all numbers, but only the first 4 numbers. We can do that using the function take. Take is to get a specific amount of data from the output. So I will use the function as follows. As you see I added the number 4, because I want to get only the first 4 numbers, which meet the condition. The result now is the following. We only have these 4 numbers as result. This is how to use the function take to filter the output of the query. But we can also use the function to filter the data within the query. Let's see the following query. I have again the same array, and the following query. I first have from statement, where I use the function take. What happens here in the statement? We take only 7 items from the array. The first 7 items. It means, the array now has only these first 7 numbers. After that we do the steps in the query for only these numbers. I have here again the same condition. The result in this case is the following. We only have these 4 numbers, because only these 4 numbers are greater than 2. The last 3 numbers are not in the result, because we take them out of the query using take function at the beginning. These are the 2 ways how to use take function in a LINQ query. In summary, we can use take function to get specific amount of data. Either after the query, to filter the output. Or within the query to filter the content. That's all about take function. Now I will switch to UiPath to show you different examples, how to use the function for arrays, but also for files or data tables. Let's start with the first example about arrays. First I will create the array variable. I will use array of type integer. And here I will add the values. So we have in this array the numbers from 1 to 10. Let's add a sign activity to write the query. I will write the same query, what I showed you at the beginning of this video. Let's explain the query again. We first loop all numbers in this array. Then we have the condition to check, if the number is greater than 2. After that we select each number, which meets this condition. And we convert the output to array type. I will not use take function now. Let's add for each loop to print the output numbers in the output console. I will add write line activity to print the numbers. Let's run the code to check the result. As you see, we have these 8 numbers, from 3 to 10. All these numbers meet the condition in the query. Assume I want to get only the first 4 numbers, from 3 to 6. Let's change the query to do that. I will add take function with number 4, to get only 4 numbers as result. What does it mean now? From the query we get 8 numbers as output, which meet the condition. Now using the function take, we get only the first 4 numbers as output. It means we filtered the output of the query. Let's run it again to check the result. As you see, we have now only 4 numbers. From 3 to 6. Let's now move on to the next example. Now I will implement a query to get files from a folder. I want to get the files sorted using the last write time. It means I want to get the files from a folder, but I want to get them after ordering them using the last modification date. It means, I should get first the newest file, then the next one and so on. The last file is the oldest file. Let's see how to do that. First I will disable these activities, because I don't need them anymore. And now I will create a variable to store the files. So we should get different files, therefore I will use the type list of file info. It means I will have a list of files. It's not a standard type, therefore I have to browse for it. So first I will add list type. Now we have to select the type for this list, what we want to store in it. As mentioned, I need the type file info, because I want to store files in this variable. So now we have a variable of type, list of file info. Let's first check the files in the folder. I have in this folder 12 different files. You can see the modification date for each file, when this file is modified. As mentioned before, I want to get the files from this folder, but after sorting them using the last modification date. It means, I should first get the file number 12, because it's the last modified file in this folder. After that I should get the file number 11, then number 10 and so on. The file 8 should be the last one, because it has the oldest modification date. I talked about this function in another video, how to get files from folder, and also how to get the newest file from the folder. If you want to learn more about that, please check this video. It's very interesting and helpful. So let's now switch to UiPath to write the query. First I will add an assign activity to write the query. I will explain the query later. Let's explain the query. First I loop the files in this statement. So here I define a DirectoryInfo using the folder path. Then I use the function GetFiles, to get all files from this folder. For this function I use the following pattern, which mean that I want to get each file from the folder, no matter what is the name or which extension it has. At the end I converted the type to file info using the cast function. After that I sorted the files using the last write time property. The sort is descending, which means that I will get first the newest file, then the next one and so on. After that I select each file. At the end I convert the output to list, so that I will get the files in as list. Now I will add for each loop, to print out the files in the output console. I will change type argument to file info, because this list is of type file info. Now I will add write line activity. Let's print out the full name. Full name is the full path of the file. Now I will run the code. As you see, I have all 12 files, but they are sorted using last write time. Let's check it in the folder. As you see, we have first the file number 12. Then the file number 11. Then the file number 10. And here is the last file number 8. So the result is correct. Assume now I want to get only the first 3 files. I want to get the newest 3 files from this folder. How to do that? I will use take function again. I added the number 3, because I want to get only 3 files. So this query gives 12 files as output. And now using take function, we only get the first 3 files from these 12 files. Let's run again to check the new result. As you see, we only have 3 files. These are the newest files in the directory. Let's move on to another example about data tables. I will first deactivate these 2 activities, because I don't need them anymore. Let's add build data table activity to create a table. I will create a variable of data table to store the table. Here is the created variable. And now I will add the columns. The first column is ID. It's of type integer. And the second one is name of type string. Let's add some rows to this table. So we have here 5 different rows. Now I will add an assign activity to write the query. Let's write this simple query to get each row from the table. It means I don't do anything here. I only select the rows again. Now I will add for each row activity to print the rows of this table. I will print out the content of both columns, ID and name. Let's run the code to see what happens. As you see, I got each row from the table. Let's now use the take function to get only some rows from the table. I added the number 2 to get only 2 rows from the table. So now I should get only the first 2 rows from the table. Let's run it again. As you see, we only have now these 2 rows. This is also how to use take function in a query for a data table. In these 3 examples I use the function take at the end of the query to filter the output of the query. Let's now try to use this function within the query so that we can filter the content of the query, not the output. I will copy the first query, what I showed you in the first example. So we have this query and for each loop. Let's remove the take function. So we have this query, where we loop all numbers in the array, and check if the number is greater than 2, then we select it. Assume I don't want to loop all numbers in the array, but only the first 7 numbers. For this I will use take function. What happens now? First we loop the numbers, but this time not all numbers, but only the first 7 numbers. It means the array now has only 7 numbers. And for these numbers we do these 2 steps, where and select. Let's run the code to see the result. As you see, we only have these numbers as output, because we selected only the first 7 numbers from the array, and we checked only these 7 numbers. This is also how to use take function within the query, to filter the content or the input. Let's now check another scenario. As you know, the array contains only 10 numbers. In this query I wanted to get the first 7 numbers. But what will happen, if I write a number, which is greater than the length of the array? I mean, what will happen, if I write for example the number 15? Normally we get the first 15 numbers from the array, but here we only have 10 numbers. Is an exception will be thrown? Let's run to check what happens. As you see, we didn't get any exception. We got all numbers from the query, which meet the condition. It means, if we set a number in take function, which is greater than the content of the variable, we will get all items from the variable, and no exception will be thrown. The same is also if we set the take function at the end of the query. That's all about take function in LINQ. I hope you enjoyed the video, and could learn something new and interesting. If you have any questions or ideas, please let us know. We are happy to help you as we can. See you in the next video about another function in LINQ. Have a good day.